On Sunday morning, Donald Trump is posting videos of himself playing golf on his social media account. One post, another post of himself landing at a golf course on Marine One, which is a repost, and then videos of himself golfing. This as the markets are crashing, this as America experienced a day of one of the biggest nationwide protests in the history of the nation. As Spencer Hakimian also points out, what went down on April 3rd, the stock drop, was one of the biggest in the history of the United States. It was basically the same stock drop right after 9/11. And when you add up the crash of Thursday, Friday, and what appears is going to happen on Monday, it may be among the worst ever of all major crashes in the history of the United States. While all of that's going on, Donald Trump is posting this. Trump is purposefully crashing the market. He's continuing to repost this bizarre video, which claims that he has a plan to crash the markets and that that's going to ultimately be good because he's going to lower interest rates. And then all the other nations are going to submit and bow down to him. He also falsely claimed in that video that he posted that Warren Buffett endorses his plan and says it's a great plan. Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway had to immediately put out a statement denying that they had anything to do with that and that they totally disagree with everything that he is doing. I'll share this with you right here just so you can see for yourself. This is literally the video that Donald Trump posted of himself this morning as we appear to be heading towards another week of horrific stock market crashes. Let's play this clip.
Shot.
Donald Trump also is posting this. Hang tough, we can't lose. Donald Trump is sending emails like this to his supporters. Please answer before the poll closes tonight. Would you accept a Doge dividend check signed by Trump? Should Trump give Doge savings back to American citizens via check? That's why I always call the Trump regime a Ponzi scheme presidency or a rug pull presidency. After they are exposed lying about one thing, there's not going to be lower prices on day one. There's not going to be peace in Ukraine in 24 hours. Housing is not going to be more affordable. There's not going to be more jobs. You can go down all of them. Inflation is surging. What does Donald Trump do? Well, maybe I'll hand you a check. Maybe if you beg me, I'll give you some breadcrumbs. That's what he's doing. Also, this morning, Trump was posting these very weird videos that appear to be created by the government of Mexico. They're in English and they feature Mexican people and they say, you need to be happy, choose to be happy, choose to be happy, don't do drugs, don't do fentanyl. And then there's an 800 number associated with the government of Mexico. And telling Mexican people not to do fentanyl in English, Mexican people in Mexico, not to do, and Donald Trump is reposting that. You know, it's why I say this is also a very demented presidency. This is what he's posting. Just think about what he's posting this morning. He's posting that he's intentionally crashing the markets and he's lying and saying Warren Buffett says this is a great idea. He's posting more videos of him golfing, and he's posting videos by the government of Mexico in English telling Mexican people in Mexico to stop doing fentanyl when there really is not that a problem in Mexico there. The scourge of fentanyl consumption is here in the United States. So anyway, take a look at these protests and what they visually looked like across the country, just keying in on some cities here. But there were a lot of other cities. I mean, there were literally thousands of towns and cities where protests like this were taking place. But you can see this visual: Boston, New York, Chicago, Portland, San Francisco, San Diego, Idaho, Utah, and Oakland, and so many more. What was so incredible about this is seeing the protests, you know, just in local small towns that were even like red-leaning towns, seeing them in like the villages in Florida, seeing them in, you know, right-leaning towns in Ohio and in Wisconsin and in Utah and in Minnesota, you know, just across the country. We saw some great ones. Thank you everybody for sharing those with us. I mean, just take a look at this image right here of the protest that took place in downtown Chicago. Just take a look at what it looked like. Let's play it. I mean, look, we've made this the main story on the MeidasTouch Network because it is the main story. But the way corporate news don't get me wrong, I've seen corporate news cover it a little. You know, maybe they showed it. They've always downplayed it. You would think that in normal times, you would be embedded with the protesters the way we were and showing the scale and scope. This has never happened like this in American history before. And the corporate news like, well, a few hundred people. So there was millions of people across the country when you add up all of the towns and cities rising up right now, rising up to crap like this. You have Scott Bessent going on Meet the Press this morning, and Kristen Welker says, you said you were going to improve the economy. What's your message, let's say, to people retiring right now who have now lost their life savings? To which Scott Bessent, who's worth $500 million, who literally lived in a pink Barbie palace. That's what he called it. It was in Charleston, South Carolina. He goes, I think Americans have it all in their savings. He says, I think they have it in their savings. I wouldn't worry about that. I think they have it in their savings. Play this clip.
What is your message to Americans who want to retire right now and who've just seen their lifetime savings drop significantly?
Well, Kristen, I think that's a false narrative. Americans who want to retire right now, the Americans who have put away for years in their savings accounts, I think they don't look at the day-to-day fluctuations of what's happening.
Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. Your data is a commodity. Anyone on the web can buy your private details. This can lead to identity theft, phishing attempts, and harassment. But now you can protect your privacy with Delete Me. Now, as someone who, let's just say, has a pretty active presence online and on the internet, it is really important to me that I protect my data. You can imagine all of the attacks that we would otherwise get. So, if I trust it, I hope you trust it as well. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me now at a special discount for our listeners. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to join deleteme.com/Meidas and use promo code Meidas at checkout. That's MEIDAS. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/Meidas and enter the code Meidas at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/Meidas. Use the code Meidas. Joindeleteme.com/Meidas, code Meidas. Thanks, Delete Me. Seriously? Seriously, they are deranged, these people. Trump's agriculture secretary, Brooke Collins, is asked by Jake Tapper on CNN, why are you imposing 10% tariffs on penguins? And she's like, oh, because he's so smart. He's so smart. Play this clip.
President Trump laid out with a giant graphic of all the countries where tariffs were going to be, what he called reciprocal tariffs were going to be imposed. And you're imposing a 10% tariff on the herd in McDonald Islands. The herd in McDonald Islands have 0 human inhabitants. They have 0 exports. They have 0 imports. They do have a lot of penguins. Why are you putting import tariffs on islands that are entirely populated by penguins?
Well, I mean, come on, Jake. Obviously, here's the bottom line. We live under a tariff regime from other countries. We have too long
the McDonald Islands is not imposing
the idea that America goes first. I mean, come on. Whatever. Listen, the people that are leading this are serious, intentional, patriotic, the smartest people I've ever worked with.
By the way, when we talk about Pink Dress Lady from North Korea, now the propagandist, the main anchor in North Korea, Donald Trump literally has pink dress ladies dressed in pink dresses. Then you have Howard Lutnick asked about the destructive nature of these tariffs, and Mr. ShamWow, Mr. Fascist ShamWow goes, it's a shammy. It's why he goes, look. He goes, look, Trump has been talking about this his whole life. I'm gonna do big accordion hands. Look here, everybody. Here, play this clip.
Term that other markets will look to other suppliers instead of dealing with the United States.
That is ridiculous. The problem is everyone in the world sells to us. Our economy is the consumer of the world. We are the only one with a trade deficit. The rest of the world has a trade surplus. Why does Europe have a trade surplus? Is there something about Europe that's special? Seriously, are they a different world than we are? Why are they selling $200 billion a year?
Mr. Secretary.
More to us. It's because it's not fair. The rules are made not fair, and President Trump is going to fix them, and he's doing it for America, and he's doing it for your children and mine and our grandchildren. This is the moment that the United States of America takes hold of itself, and Donald Trump's been talking about this his whole life. This is Donald Trump's agenda, and we are all here to help him execute it.
And we will.
Again, these people are demented. Here is Scott Bessent, Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary. Lutnick's his Commerce Secretary. Here's Scott Bessent saying, you know, I would tell everybody things are good. I would tell them things are good. What I saw on Friday in the market with the volume, with the trade volume, is good. Here, play this clip.
The markets lost more than $6 trillion in value. Was this disruption always part of the plan, Mr. Secretary?
Look, markets are organic, the animals, and you never know what the reaction is going to be. One thing that I can tell you as the Treasury Secretary, what I've been very impressed with is the market infrastructure, that we had record volume on Friday, and everything is working very smoothly, so the American people, they can be very take great comfort in that.
And then you have Kevin Hassett, Donald Trump's top National Economic Council advisor. Here's what he has to say. Play this clip.
Why did the president not include Russia on the list of countries who are facing tariffs?
There's obviously an ongoing negotiation with Russia and Ukraine, and I think the president made the decision not to conflate the two issues. It doesn't mean that Russia, the fullest of time, is going to be treated wildly different than every other country.
But Russia is one of the only countries, one of the few countries that is not subject to these new tariffs, aren't they?
They're in the middle of a negotiation, George, aren't they?
And here he is again. Let's play it.
The president retweeted a post that said the market drop was part of a deliberate strategy to force the Fed to lower interest rates. Is that the president's strategy? If not, why did he post it?
Yeah, that, you know, the bottom line is the president has been talking about tariffs for 40 years, and this has been absolutely the policy that he's focused on in the campaign and throughout his political career.
Oh, then they bring on Pam Bondi, Donald Trump's attorney general, who continues this idea that we may have to look into a third term for Donald Trump. She's asked, so, you know, she goes, maybe he'll leave. Just listen to her in your own words. Here, play this.
Another headline, there's chatter about President Trump seeking a third term. He has said, quote, there are methods. Is this just one of his epic trolls? Or does he or do you believe there is a method short of amending the Constitution by which he could seek a third term?
President Trump has served one full term. He's on his second full term. He's a very smart man, and I wish we could have him for 20 years as our president, but I think he's going to be finished probably after this term.
Probably.
Well, the Constitution, we'd have to look at the Constitution.
And finally, here is Democratic Senator Adam Schiff. Here's what he's got to say. Let's play it.
Unfortunately, he's wrecking our economy. I think people have seen their retirement savings on fire, and there he is out on the golf course. That may end up being the most enduring image of the Trump presidency. That is the president out on a golf cart while people's retirement is in flames. The Treasury Secretary is saying that people aren't looking at where the retirement savings are. Maybe he doesn't have to. He's got the wealth. He doesn't have to. Maybe the president with his wealth doesn't have to. But what I'm hearing from Californians is those that have just retired, those who are on the eve of retiring, they're terrified of this. And I hope and pray we stay out of recession, but if we head into a recession, it will be the Trump recession. He will completely own it. This is a completely self-destructive economic act that he's engaged in.
Yeah, that's exactly true. Anyway, that's what's happening this morning. We'll keep you posted. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.